Hello, my friends. Lori Ashcraft here. I'm your host for Viva La Evolution, which is sponsored by Recovery and Resilience Solutions, which is the training and consulting branch of Crestwood Behavioral Health. And today, I'm just really pleased to bring you a guest, Lindsay. And the reason I'm excited about sharing Lindsay with you is she is so representative of folks who haven't had a dream for a while. You'll hear her story of, well, I don't want to, I don't want to, you'll hear it from her. And, but I will tell you is listen closely to when she says she heard about peer support training. Because this is what happens with so many people that have become helpless and hopeless. Often they're on conservatorship. Often they haven't seen a glimmer of a future hope for them for a while. And then something happens. They see something that absolutely wakes them up. And you'll hear Lindsay talk about this when she talks about reading about the peer support training that was happening in one of the Crestwood facilities in San Diego. If we could figure out how to do that, how to push that button, or to, it's really not us pushing a button. It's if we could figure out how to be inspiring and irresistible enough that that part of someone would awaken and move into their recovery journey. That's what we need to do. So here's Lindsay. Here's her story. It's amazing, an amazing story. A story that I would wish for everybody who'd ever been on conservatorship. So here we go. Here's Lindsay. Lindsay, thank you so much for taking time off work to be with us today. I'm just excited about you sharing your story of recovery with all of us. And I know a little bit about you already, so I know how inspiring your story is. So let's just start. We can start wherever you want, but maybe a good place would be to start with, I know drugs kind of got you off track early on. Can you talk a little bit about what may have caused that or prompted you to get into that scene?
Well, I was interested in doing drugs when I was younger, and it whenever I had a problem, I would self-medicate with drugs.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you're having a little trouble in your family, like arguing a lot and probably typical teenage stuff, but might have been just more than you wanted to handle. And drugs kind of provided a halfway decent escape. I don't know.
Yeah, especially when I got older than high school. That's when my family and I really started disagreeing.
Mhm, mhm. When
And
did you?
I pardon?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I had my own place I got with my ex-boyfriend, and we got into drugs, and I wasn't able to pay for rent, and I was asking my parents for money.
Mhm.
And then I moved back with them, and then we got in arguments, and that's when I decided to go live on the streets to do drugs because I knew I could get them for free.
Hmm. Okay. So you were homeless for a while, weren't you then?
It was about a
Mhm.
year.
Hmm. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I would want to do the drugs when I was homeless because I wanted to stay awake because there was nowhere to sleep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I didn't sleep very often when I was homeless.
Mhm. Well, how did you get out of that situation and move on from there?
Um, I I don't want to think it's serendipity, but it is a accident where I was hit by a car. I was high
Mm.
and I was hit by a car, and I asked them to call 911 and I said, "Please get me help. I'm hit and I'm not feeling well." And the ambulance took me and I had a coma. And then I woke up and they wanted me in the behavioral health. And then they found out I had nowhere to live. So I was on conservatorship after at that point.
Hmm. Hmm. So you got hit by the car, taken to a hospital, and put on the behavioral health unit in the hospital.
Yes, they said they discovered I was schizoaffective.
Oh, hmm. Well, that's kind of interesting that they didn't really know you very long and they decided that's what you were.
I think that it was in the notes of my
Oh,
history.
okay. Okay. All right. So then do you know why you were put on conservatorship?
I had no way of taking care of myself.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, so then you had a conservator, and what happened next? Where did you end up next?
I ended up at Crestwood, San Diego,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and I saw a flyer that said that they were training at Hummingbird for the peer support specialists.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so I talked to my SC and I told her I really want to do this program. I know it got postponed because of COVID, but this is my calling. It gives me something I can do to help myself
Yeah.
so I can take care of myself in the future. And I thought that it would extend my recovery because um, it gives me a job and it gives me the ability to make something in my life instead of just being in a boarding care for the rest of my life.
Yeah. 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 Well,
And
let me back up just a little bit.
yeah.
Oh, excuse me just a second here. We live around a lot of oak trees, and right now they're dropping all this little yellow powdery stuff. It just keeps me coughing all day long.
Oh,
Anyway, I want to back up so our viewers understand. So when you went to San Diego Crestwood, you went on the rehabilitation unit. And
yes.
then when you got better, they moved you to what's called Hummingbird. And Hummingbird is an unlocked community care licensed part of Crestwood. Do I have that right?
I think so. I don't know about the unlocked part because we were pretty locked.
Was that because of COVID or? Um,
I think it was both. I don't know though for sure.
okay, okay. Well, I don't know either, but it was in other words, you had more freedom on Hummingbird to come and go and yeah. Okay, so you're there and you see this flyer. I want to get a little deeper into this because this is so juicy right here. Tell me what happened in your heart when you saw that flyer.
I said, "You know what? I can do this." I was like, I think that this would be a good idea. That's why I went to Hummingbird actually, is because it was in Crestwood that I saw the um
Oh, okay, okay.
and I was just like, "Oh, this is perfect." Um I will be able to get a job and I'll be doing something that I think I can do,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I'm capable of.
So it sounds like it's just like a spark went off when you saw that. Something like just clicked with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And
Clicked.
yeah. And knowing you a little bit, I've got a hunch that that click was because you thought you could help other people. Because I know
Yeah,
you have a passion for that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It also I think it helps me with my recovery because when the guests that I work with talk to me, re they like they re in I can't think of the word. Um, they reinforce my own recovery is what I'm trying to say.
Well, how does that happen?
Well, they'll be working on something and then I say what's worked for me, and then it reminds me in my head of what works for recovery and why clean and sober,
Ah,
and I've
okay.
almost at 5 years now, and I'm really
Yeah. So I'm hearing a couple things happening in there. One is when you're working with other people, you're kind of reminded about, would you say, how far you've come or where you don't want to go back to?
yeah, just reinforcing the good habits.
Okay, good. Yeah. And then another thing I'm hearing is so that helps you. It helps you to help them. And then when
Yeah.
you're helping them, it helps you because you get to see them get better because of what you do.
Yeah.
I don't believe I just said all that. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So, okay. So then you go to the class, the peer support class. What was that like?
It was really fun, I liked it. It was better than school in my
Oh, yeah.
memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause they have the toys on the tables, and
Yeah.
I like
That's that Chris Martin. He always, who was your teacher?
I think it was, Chris,
Okay.
probably.
I bet it was Chris. Yeah.
Yeah,
He makes learning so much fun. Yeah. It's
yeah.
not scary at all. So did you find the material hard or easy or how was all that?
I found it hard,
Yeah.
but I learned a lot, and I studied really hard, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Just for our audience, this class is the material in it is junior college level, and in many cases, it's been offered in junior colleges for college credit. So this is not an easy class. This is not something that's kind of made simple. So it's a hard class, and it's 80 hours. 80 hours. So you were in class for 80 hours. How was
Wow.
that?
It was nice.
Yeah.
Um, I kinda like school like that. I would like to go to school with it that intense and, um, combined, or
Well,
like
I'm hearing that you like the challenge.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think it's good to do hard things because then, if we just went around doing easy things, we wouldn't think much of ourselves. But if we do really hard things, then we go, oh, that was hard and I did it. I think you get a better punch out of it if it's hard.
Yeah.
Well, then there was I don't know, what is a 120-hour internship?
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't remember the number.
it was over 100 hours. And you actually got paid for that,
Yes.
something like $17 an hour or something like
I don't remember. It was before the inflation, so it's probably 16.
that. Okay, 16, yeah. So how was that? First of all, to actually practice working and then to get paid for it. Was this your first paid job?
No, no.
Okay, okay. But
But it was my first paid job where I wasn't doing something that was like manual labor.
okay, yeah, yeah. That must have been quite something to get that first paycheck for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of lost track of you after that because you moved to Fallbrook.
I live in Oceanside and now I work in Fallbrook, yes.
Okay. How did so how long after you finished the class did you get out of Hummingbird?
About a month later.
Okay. Okay. And you got a place to live?
Yeah, I got off conservatorship the last day of 2021,
Huh. Huh.
which was right before I started working at Fallbrook
Yeah.
because I
You
started
know,
work.
Yeah, there's an odd thing. I I have not come across this before, and I don't know if it's in more counties than San Diego. But in San Diego, the conservator, uh, I might not get this quite right, but the conservator says you cannot sign an employment contract if you're on conservatorship.
Oh,
So we had to really try to figure out how to get by that. And in your case, I think they just dropped the conservatorship, so it wasn't an issue, and you could get hired right away.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's good.
Yes, that was very good.
Yeah.
And so, how did you find a place to live?
I spoke to one of the employees at Hummingbird who used to live in the area of North County, and she knew of a place. And I called the lady, begged her to take me, and she did. She took me, so I got in.
So, this isn't a board and care, is it? Or-
It's an independent living facility.
oh, okay. I see.
And
And
I just, oh,
how,
sorry.
how many people are there?
There were about 8 people there.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Well, that worked out perfectly, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Are you liking it there?
Yes, I just what I was gonna say is I moved about a month and a half ago. They the lady who was doing the independent living facility decided to to make it more condensed at her house where she lives, and she moved all of the people that wanted to go with her from my independent living facility to her house. And
Hmm.
I said, "No way, I'm not moving to your house." She didn't even have a closet in the room. And I'm thinking like I can't do this. So I went on Craigslist and I found a lady who was renting in her house. And so I rent a room now and I'm
Oh,
all by
okay.
myself. Yeah, it's really nice.
And you just did that all by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, and then how did you get hired at Fallbrook?
I interviewed with Corey and Scott,
Okay.
and they said, "You're hired."
You must have done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then how was your first day of work?
It was good. First, when I first started working, I was a little bit nervous because I had a background check incident where I had to explain my past history,
Mhm.
and I had to write a letter, and I had to have references of recommendation, and it was a one-time thing. Either I pass or I don't pass, and I have to go home, and I can't get the job again. And thankfully, my letter was good enough and the
Oh,
references were good enough. I got accepted.
a lot of people can't get past that. So for you to get past that is uh, just an indication of how good you are at making things turn out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you show up at work the first day, and you must have had to go through an orientation, huh? Yeah.
Yes, we did. Yes. 2 weeks, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You got kind of trained up one side and down the other. 80 hours of peer support, hundreds plus hours of internship, and new hire orientation.
Yeah.
You survived all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. And how is work now? You told me a little
Work
bit
is
about
work is great.
it. Yeah.
I think that everybody really appreciates me. I have great groups.
Oh, tell me about your groups.
My groups are set in the peer support like style where you engage with the guests who are in the group and they offer their own ideas and experiences through um, what they want to work on and what they have an idea for what will be best for them.
Mm,
And
mm,
we discuss, and then everybody gets to listen to what everybody says.
mm-hmm.
And it turns out really well.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so
Because
happy
they
to
are
find.
their own experts. Oh, sorry. Go
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. Yeah, they are
Oh,
their
I
own
was saying because
experts,
they
aren't
are
they?
their own experts.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. Well, thank you for telling us your recovery story and catching us up on everything. How are things with your family now? Have they gotten better?
Yeah, the things are great. My family and I go out to breakfast every Saturday.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal because I get to see them. I moved actually to Oceanside to live closer to them because they live in Carlsbad and I want to see them as much as I can.
And is this your mom and dad?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that when I was about your age too, was just wanted to live close to my mom and dad so I could keep an eye on them. And they
Yeah.
kept an eye on me, so turned out.
And I paid them back for all the stuff that money I learned from them. And I was so proud. That was one of the things that made me really happy with the beginning of my journey as to independent living because I ended up with more money than I had in the past. And since I wasn't buying drugs or anything, I
Yes.
wasn't even buying cigarettes.
Yeah.
That money it adds up.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
days. So I was able to pay them back, and I think they
Oh,
really appreciated that.
that must have made you feel so good to do that.
Yeah, our relationship's better. It improves every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can just imagine how happy they are to have their girl back.
Yeah,
I don't think I was at your did your graduation happen during COVID?
yeah.
Okay. So I didn't get to come to your graduation. Were your parents there?
They went to my graduation,
Okay. Okay.
but they didn't make it to the actual graduation. They did the Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good though. So just for our viewers, when when people finish the peer support class, the 80 hours, we do something called graduation. You don't actually graduate till you finish the internship, but we want to celebrate that moment of completing the classwork. So that's what Lindsay's saying when she says they came to the graduation. And then I was all of the, were there any guests at the real graduation or was it still locked down?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, I don't remember either. Well, I just want to thank you so much, Lindsay, for sharing your story with us. Um, but do you have some plans for the future that you're shooting for?
I'm gonna go and do the DBT training this year.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Anything else? Any vacations?
No vacations.
Well, you might think about having one.
Yeah, not right now.
Okay. Well, I'm bringing that up because, um, so, I mean, I've had a little bit of this, but not as much as a lot of people is, um, we, we're so busy trying to get better that thinking of a vacation is just not even on the table. Thinking of just going somewhere to have fun and relax is not something we would think about. So anyway, you might put it on your bucket list.
Okay.
Okay. Anything you want to say that we didn't talk about?
Um, well, as far as my mental health goes, I'm doing really good. I think I'm doing well. I'm
Mhm.
able to pretty much stabilize and I feel like I'm really being helped by my medication. For years, I had been prescribed medication and I wouldn't take it. And then for the past almost 5 years now, I've been taking my medication regularly and it has improved my life so much. And it's
Mm,
such a big part of my recovery because I have to remember, oh yeah, you have to take your medication because you don't want to act the way that you do when you're not on it. And then I have to also remember you have to stay sober because of the way that you act when you're not
yeah,
sober
yeah,
and
yeah,
the way that you treat people so you can get that high or so you aren't sober anymore. And
yeah, yeah,
I don't want that anymore in my life because it's such a bad, toxic
yeah,
environment.
yeah,
And it really hurts me when I think about all the things I did that weren't good just to get like a hit of drugs.
yeah.
That's not good. And so I just remember that every day and
Mhm.
I try to hold strong in my recovery and I want to help other people who have the same similar situations.
Well, I think you're doing that every day at your job. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again ever so much.
You're
And
welcome.
uh, yeah, I know many people are going to really learn a lot from what you had to say and appreciate your recovery. It's very inspiring. Very
Thank
inspiring. Yeah. Well, that was Lindsay. Uh, I hope you got that little heart pounding like I did when she told her story of waking up. So, that's our challenge. That's for all of us. That's what we need to look for. We need to not be helpless and hopeless. We need to keep believing in people and putting those opportunities in front of them and then helping them grab a hold of them and move on with their life. Okay, that's it for me today. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Really would appreciate that. And see you next time.